Welcome to Everything Life Coaching with John Kim and Noelle Cordeaux, founders of JRNI Coaching. If you're inspired to begin your own life coaching practice or just want to learn a little bit more about what it's all about, visit JRNI.co. That's JRNI.
Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the art of slowing down. And man, for me, this is going to be like a medicine. This is a prescription because I struggle with slowing down. Noelle, you're going to school me today on the art of slowing down, hopefully.
I am, and I also wanna challenge your assumptions about yourself.
Oh, nice. Well, okay, let's do it. Let's do it because I have always been the high strung, chasing his tail, and everyone has always said to me, "You gotta slow down. You gotta relax." And I still struggle with it today at 47.
I think that has been historically true of you.
Mhm.
I think that that is accurate. And we talk a lot about hardcore coaching skills, and today I kind of wanted to um, step out from behind the curtain and show ourselves. And one of the things that I have observed of you as my friend, as my business partner, has been a profound slowing down,
Mm.
especially over the last year.
In what way? In energy or in, like, what I'm choosing to do, like, my choices, or how do you see that? Curious.
All
Mm,
of it, energetically, saying things like, "Hey, I need to set a boundary, I wanna spend more time with Logan,"
mm,
um, choosing and crafting your life intentionally, thinking about how you wanna spend your time, what your days are going to look like, where you're putting your energy in terms of relationships and partnerships, and even just, from an energetic space, a lot of our conversations used to, and I'm saying like many years ago, sound like, John, here's what I have to tell you today. And you're like, squirrel. And
yeah,
that doesn't happen anymore.
mm.
We talk to each other, we hear each other.
Guys, this is why, coaching is so powerful. Noelle s telling me what she sees, which is not what I see, and because I trust her and I believe her, and I don't think she's just, talking shit, that's so helpful for me because that contrast between how I see myself and how she sees me is, that's the gap that coaching can close.
Oh, 100%. And let's really drill down. So, John is my friend. I love him. I care about him. And if he were my client, I would want to know, well, if you've been hanging on to this self-perception of you as a person who needs to slow down, is that detracting from your life in any way?
Mm. Yeah, yeah, I mean, as she digs deeper, because I see myself as a squirrel still, and Noelle's saying, "No, you're more like a Labrador." I don't know what animal it is.
Labrador.
Um,
I have to think about the animal, I really do,
yeah,
but we
ho
can we
hopefully not a possum, but,
no.
or a sloth, but her telling me that and then also, saying why, so her backing up her perspective with facts, right? Because what I feel isn't truth, and what we all feel isn't facts, right? So, that is extremely helpful because now it makes me curious and it allows me to see myself in a different light, which which is
Mhm.
which is refreshing and which is where growth can live.
Yeah, and guys, so what we're doing here is really a foundational coaching. It's separating emotion and perception and reaction from facts to move to a position of being proactive and real.
Yeah, and it's almost impossible to do it by yourself.
It is.
Yeah.
It's completely impossible to do it by yourself because when you're in your own head and you're spinning and you're looking around, you can't see yourself.
No, you can't see yourself. I mean, how can you? Because we're only seeing ourselves through our own lenses and our own wiring and, all of that stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, let's take a trip down memory lane. So I remember maybe 8, 10 years ago when we first started really digging in and working on curriculum, I would send you like 10-page Word documents, very detailed with graphs and
Mhm.
charts and arrows and be
Yeah.
like, "Here's the plan," right? And while that sounds awesome and wonderful and very like me type A Virgo, that I am, the level of detail and kind of, running, as fast and as far as I could, even in the creation of those documents, wasn't actually helpful, efficient, or a reasonable scope of work to actually move things forward, right?
Mm.
Um, and so, kind of looking back, I can say, oh, I've changed as well. We've both really slowed down in so many different ways.
Oh, are you saying that the amount of, with the charts and graphs and the amount of, writing that you did, you are you saying that was too much? It was,
I think so.
oh, at one time, you're saying?
I think so, and even just in terms of communication and
Mhm.
communication style, and this is a pit that I sometimes see young coaches fall into, or
Yeah.
people who are gonna start a business, or they're thinking about their brand, or they're running a million miles an hour in 25 different directions, and when you say, "I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna work," and you spend 5 hours in your office and you've plotted out your entire life and you know exactly how the next 5 years is gonna go and you have your plan, really, all you have is your plan.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you, and I love the word art in this topic, the art of slowing down, because I think a lot of people see life as either I got to be productive, I got to get things done, I got to check these things off my list, or I got to slow down. But when you say the art of slowing down, now we're talking about a dance. Now we're talking about equalizing. We're talking about it being not so much an on and off switch, but like this idea of balance and self care and knowing when to slow down and when to hit the gas pedal.
Exactly, exactly, and, motivation is not a constant.
No, no way. Yeah, I mean we dip all the time, daily.
Yeah, yeah. I like to think of it more as waves crashing on a beach, right? So the wave comes in and then it goes out.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you have to, and the times when the wave goes out, you're just sitting on the sand saying, "Wow. Now what?"
One thing that I have seen in you, which I am actually really proud of, is so Noelle takes on a lot, and this is good and bad. Like it's good because she has the ambition and drive and all of that, like off the charts. But it's also bad because it could be unhealthy, right? And she could burn out. And so, from what I've seen in her in the last 9 years is her playing with that, her dance. And, right before we started this episode, she mentioned she's gonna go away for a couple days. And, I f I felt happy, I felt proud, I felt like, "Okay, here's another, action step that she is doing to slow down because she feels that she needs it." And, I think that's growth for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is. And as we've kind of gone on this journey together with our businesses and, our listeners, our aspiring coaches, they're building their brands and businesses. Entrepreneurship and partnership and work is so very personal
Mhm.
because it's your life. You inhabit your life and your work can become your life.
Yeah.
But when you really peel back and say, well, what have I been doing in this time? It's layered. It's the layers of your life where your friends, may also be your colleagues, may also be your chosen family. The content that you create is the work, the words that you're contributing to the discourse of this, earth. Your
Mhm.
intellectual property, is yours. It comes from your brain. It's what you, put into the world, and that builds your relationship with the entire world around you.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes back to, the word I use a lot is your container, your life space.
Mhm. Yeah, and when we kind of push the gas pedal in terms of worth and output and money, I think that we lose the nuance of the true capacity that we all have to build a life,
Mm.
within our work, just not work.
You know what's ironic, is and I think I see this happening a lot, and I also fall into it as well. When you are on social media constantly, doing videos every day, and you're kind of a talking head, and you're giving lectures, and encouraging people to live a certain way, it's very easy for you to lose your life. It's very easy to tell people how to live, but then in reality, you're actually not living.
100%. And, you and I have opposite experiences most of the time. I have the complete opposite experience. So if someone ever took a gander at my social media, they would have absolutely no sense of my real life.
That's true, because you don't
Mhm.
post a lot about work and stuff, although
Yep.
you do post a lot of personal stuff, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
post personal stuff. I post pictures of my dog.
Mhm.
I post, thoughts from time to time, but you wouldn't be able to really follow
What
my
right,
existence.
what you do every day.
What I do, if you hopped over to the journey page, you'd be able to see the outcomes of my work. If you hopped over to my own social media, you'd know that my dog had a birthday.
Right,
Um,
right.
you know, but you wouldn't necessarily know that I'm packing up. I'm getting ready to go spend a couple of
Mhm.
days on a farm in Virginia with some friends. That life has been rolling on, that I live in Philadelphia, that, I run a company. If you just looked at
Mhm.
my Instagram, so it's an interesting mix of how we present what we share,
Yeah.
how we show up, and why, I think.
If you look at mine, it's like a flip book where you see every moment of my day from when I'm in the bathroom to what I'm eating to all of that, which I love, and this is what I love about, Noel and I is that we are different, and so when it comes to coaching, um, we are living examples that, you can be a coach and be at the opposite ends of the spectrum and everything in between.
Yeah. When I was prepping for this podcast, I wrote, "Live while working. May your work be a companion."
Mm. What may your work be a companion, that's really interesting. Instead of may your work
Yeah.
be you. May your work not be tied to your worth.
Yeah, and thinking about it in terms of companionship, is there's a separation. So fun fact, I spent a lot of time in some of my school years studying Marxist theory.
Mhm.
And Marx talks about the worker and how society tells the worker that your worth is inherent in your work. And I think that as we look at our society and we look at what's going on, there's kind of a great awakening right now where people are starting to say, I don't want to be my work anymore.
Oh, yeah. Right now, that's huge right now with, the pandemic and the shakeup and people
Mhm,
being trapped at home. They're
mhm.
reevaluating, I think, a lot of people right now.
Right. And so, what does that mean for you as an individual and a human, for your own precious life, if you are your work and that is the only expectation for you, is that you have to toil for what, for what output? And one of the things that I love about the field of coaching is that there is so much freedom that I didn't perhaps fully appreciate or even see when I first came into this space, that the field of coaching itself, engaging in it, your work has more of an opportunity to be a companion to you than I think it does in other spaces and other sectors.
I love that. Can you say how so?
Yeah, because you can do so many different things with coaching. You can work for somebody else. You can run your own shop. You can team up with others. You can create content like John does, which is so varied, from books to podcasts to social media content. You can do what I do, which is to have a very beautiful referral based private practice. I also, partnered with John, and then we ended up building a company. Who knew? It's a
Right.
coaching company, so I engage in coach training. There's and and if I was ever to not be the CEO of Journey, there's a million things that I want to do.
Yeah, this is really interesting because I think that it fits what everyone is thirsty for these days, which is how do I do something that I'm passionate about, not just not just for money, not just for the paycheck, but something that really lights me up, but do it in a way where I don't lose my life, right? How can I
Mhm,
design a life where I could actually live and be productive and have meaning. And I think this is why so many people are interested in coaching because I think you're right.
mhm,
Coaching is one of the businesses, the careers now where because it's so wide and there is no like cookie cutter definition of a coach. At least at least for us, that's not how we do it. You could completely create a career and a life that kind of blends and that has balance, and you could play with the art of of slowing down and living a meaningful life, but also making money while you're doing it. And I think that's like the dream. That's like the new American dream.
It is. It very much is. And so you have been saying for years, make coaching a lifestyle,
Yeah.
live in an authentic way to you. And I was actually resistant to that for a long time.
Mm. Mhm.
And I something has changed inside of me. And I think it has to do with the deepening of my own coaching practice and really the concept of asking permission
Mm.
that has just created this natural pause for me. And the value that I found in that pause is like, whoa,
Mm.
this has changed my life.
Why do you think there was resistance, when you first heard me say that? Was it because it didn't match your definitions of a coach?
I think it probably, even though I am a student of Marxist theory, I wasn't living it. I think it was
Mm.
my own colonized mind concept of myself as a worker. That I
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
suffer, I had to struggle, I had to
right.
produce work, and, even talking about me in the early days, just like h and you pointing out, how I don't take breaks, that was something that I really internalized, the struggle, the suffer, the constant output, and, when you create the space to actually slow down, even in the context of hard work, you create space around big decisions, difficult
Mm.
conversations,
Mhm,
listening,
mhm,
letting your nervous system calm down, asking permission. And that just, you know, working harder isn't, there's no trophy, right? And so, creating this space to let my nervous system calm and just kind of spread things out, especially during the pandemic, has made me more solid in my role, in my leadership, in my
mm.
decision making.
Yeah, and, I think for me, the reason why I would announce that, on social media and talk about it so much, like, as a life coach, turn thread coaching into your life. I think the reason why I was saying that so much was because I was so terrified that it was going to get taken away from me. I was so terrified that, the universe or whatever was going to get me to go back into working in a field, when I was doing a lot of clinical work where um, I could no longer work in a way that was free. And even if you go back further, locking myself into a Starbucks for 14 hours while my marriage was falling apart and just grinding and grinding and having no life and no friends and no connection to self. I think I was so terrified of going back there that I just kept announcing, turn coaching into a lifestyle. It's almost like I was saying it to myself.
Yeah, and I think that's really valuable insight, and language is so powerful. The words that we say to others, even especially to ourselves, are the ones that you really internalize. Like,
Yeah,
so let's just
yeah.
take the tag that we've been using forever. There's no such thing as a broken human.
Mhm.
And, you know, I have been repeating that for the last 9 years. because that's one of the original phrases that we started with. And number one, we both wholeheartedly believe it. It's what both of it's what Journey believes. It's what the angry therapist believes.
Yeah.
And number two, as somebody who has a traumatic past and a history with eating disorders and depression, I personally internalized it over the years and no longer see those things as my calling card.
Mm. How does it feel to no longer see those things as your calling card? How does it feel to know that you've, um, evolved from that?
Oh, freedom,
Yeah,
straight freedom.
yeah.
I mean, and it's the kind of freedom that I really didn't think was possible. I didn't think there would be a day when I was free most of the time from depression. I didn't think there would be a day where I'd be free most of the time from eating disorders. I also didn't think that I was as smart or as capable as I am. And to even be able to take ownership of that capacity, has been a remarkable transformation in and of itself. I was once a person who felt like I had to be led, and I
Mm.
am no longer that person.
That's amazing, and I think that, you know, and when I say evolving, I also mean healing. That freedom that you're feeling, and it's funny because me, as your business partner and friend, I also feel in the last year or two this overwhelming personal freedom, and it's different than yours, but it does parallel because it's both feeling free, and for me, it's completely. Uh, Empowered me, and it also allows me to feel, gratitude.
Mhm.
I think there's I was talking about this week earlier. I think there's 2 different types of gratitude, and this is just the way that I see it, but there's this grass-fed gratitude, if gratitude was butter, right? And it's like, the expensive, consistent, imported grass-fed butter, and then there's, like, a margarine gratitude, and it's not fake, but it's a little processed, and it's used almost as as an intervention when we're not, when we need it. And most of my life, I've been using the margin gratitude, using gratitude as an intervention. And lately, after feeling this freedom that you and I are talking about, gratitude is now coming from an organic place. It's more consistent and it's grass fed.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this topic today and to really get into it is I think because I've looked at both of us recently and said, "Holy shit, we did it." Like, we're both
Mm,
really good right now. We're both really solid right now, and we did it because of and through the work of coaching,
yeah.
partnership,
Yeah.
friendship, honesty, grit, determination, stick to itiveness, figuring out our shit, letting go of what doesn't work. And, this is the science of coaching. This is the embodiment of the science of coaching.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you were saying this, I was, flashing through our entire journey. And I feel like you're right. I feel like we've kind of we've swam to the island.
Mhm.
We're not in that crazy rocky ocean, knowing if we're gonna uncertain that we're gonna drown. And of course, we're continuing to swim, but I feel like you and I have, reached the island and, like, personally, emotionally, um, all of it, yeah, it's a good feeling.
All of it. Yeah, and so, for those that are just starting out on this path of, can I change my life? The answer is yes, you can. Will it happen overnight? Nope.
Mhm,
Certainly won't.
mhm.
There were many lessons, many trials,
Oh,
many
yeah.
pits and valleys in the hero's journey, but the thing that I think has been kind of the guiding star has been that wish for freedom, that expectation of peace that is on the other
Mm,
side.
mm. Noelle, you and I can, slow down.
Mhm.
Not slow down as in be lazy or not productive and all that, but slow down in the sense of, finally having peace, finally, enjoying the ride instead of, holding the armchairs because of the turbulence.
Yes, and can you imagine if we had gone in some sort of time capsule to ourselves 10 years ago and imparted this wisdom and just said, hey, baby John and Noelle, everything feels really weird and scary, but it's actually going to be okay. Have some fun
Mm.
and enjoy this trip because you're embarking on the adventure of a lifetime.
Yeah, and it's so hard when you're in the trenches to know that, but yeah, in looking back, and here's the thing, because that's the pattern, um, you could now know that in the future, your future self would come back and say that to you now. So, if you guys are listening and you're in a place where you feel that you are in the trenches, whatever your life looks like, um, slow down. There's an art to it, and yeah, and you gotta have fun because then work is work and it's no longer a life.
Hmm. Absolutely. And you deserve the whole life, all the flavors,
The entire pie.
the entire pie.
Guys, thank you for listening. And if you have any interest in coaching or if it's something that you've been curious about, check out our community, check out JRNI Coaching, and see if it's for you.
Yep. And I'd love to hear your story and talk about where you want to go.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Be well.
Ready to cut through the BS of becoming a coach? Snag John and Noelle's 6-step guide to becoming a life coach at JRNI.co/everything. That's JRNI.co/everything. If what you've heard here today speaks to you and you want to learn a little bit more about becoming a coach, visit JRNI.co, JRNI.co. We've graduated nearly 1,000 coaches and offer vibrant community, strong lifetime support, and world-class coaching education. We're fully ICF accredited and look forward to watching how you use coaching to make a bigger impact in the world around you.